Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto and Hinata Run Away Together, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Shinobu, calm down. It's only a needle. Shizune held the girl's quivering arms still. Kushina had admitted that her daughter had a huge fear of needles. Shizune had stopped by to get B samples. Naruto had taken his stoically, as had Kushina. But Shinobu had gotten really upset. There, I'm done. The needle was quickly pulled out. When we will get the results? I would think that the Hokage would think that I would know my own son. Kushina led Shizune outside while Saya made Shinobu some calming tea. We don't doubt you. But the council will need solid proof that Naruto is the fourth heir. Otherwise there'll be a lot of problems. Tsunade-sama herself will be doing the test. One of us will deliver the results personally. Shizune walked out of the Uzumaki residence. Kushina walked back into the house. Saya was done with Shinobu and was probably off trying to find Naruto. She knew that this would take a while to get used to, considering her heritage and past. And Naruto had a lot to take in as well. This was all new to him. Kushina-sama. I can't find Naruto-sama anywhere. Do you know where he is? Kushina laughed quietly as Saya approached. The previous night he had woken up to Saya trying to snuggle up next to him. It was taking a while for her to understand that Naruto was not Minato. He's probably off trying to comfort Hinata. She's terrified of her father's decision today. Speaking of that, we need to go to the Hyuga house soon. Kushina walked off, leaving Saya pouting alone. A young girl of the branch family opened the gate. She saw Hinata and beckoned them in. Hiyashi-sama is waiting. Please follow me. Kushina, Naruto, and Hinata were led to the inner rooms of Hiyashi Hyuga. Leave us, Hiyashi ordered. The young girl shut the door behind her as she left. As for you three, please sit. The three sat down on the provided cushions. Hiyashi Hyuga only watched the three of them intently. Most of his focus was on his daughter. He noticed how that, even though she was scared, she was determined to be strong. His eldest daughter had undergone a change during the time of her absence from the clan. He also noticed how she was holding Naruto's hand rather tightly. If it hurt, Naruto didn't show it. He was holding her hand just as tight. So, it appears Naruto is a member of all family, albeit distantly. Tsunade-sama performed the B test herself. So I trust the results. Which means I have no choice but to say Naruto is a worthy spouse of my daughter. This is what I propose. Hinata gripped Naruto's hand tighter as her father spoke. Yes, father, I'm listening. Hinata, you are still welcome in the clan. But we need the next family head and their spouse to have use of the Byakugan, thus letting the family head after that to use it. So, if you are willing to hand down the position of heiress to your sister, I will approve and even encourage this relationship. It's clear that this young man is good for you. I only ask that if you do this, you be careful. I don't want to see you get hurt. Hinata looked up in shock. But then she suddenly smiled. Hiyashi Hyuga had never seen his eldest truly smile until now. Yes, father, I will hand down the position of heiress to Hinabi. Hinabi would be better at it than I would be anyway. Hiyashi-sama. Hiyashi turned his attention to Naruto. I promise you that I will never hurt Hinata. If she's ever hurt because of me, I'll take responsibility for it. But I'll never hurt her. I promise that to both of you. Oh, and Naruto, treat my daughter with respect. I want this relationship to develop at a slow pace. My daughter is not to be taken advantage of. Is that understood? Naruto swore he would treat her with respect. On my honor, I never take back my word. It's my way of the ninja. Thank you for giving me a chance. I won't forget this. Hiyashi almost smiled to himself. Feel free to train with us whenever you like. I hear you've become a powerful shinobi. The Hyuga clan would like to help you develop that power wisely. Naruto nodded, a huge smile on his face. Oh, and don't say anything about this to anyone else yet. Both nodded. Now scat, you two. Go have an official first date, after Naruto officially asks Hinata out. Hiyashi and I have to go to the council meeting now, so go enjoy yourselves. Go on, Get out of here. Kushina ushered the love-struck teenagers out of the room. When they were gone, Kushina sat back down. Was that a wise move? Yes, it's the best course of action. I don't like to put my own F&B down, but Hinabi would be a better head than Hinata. But knowing Hinabi, she'll probably give up half that power if possible to Hinata, making co-heads of the family. It's happened before. The family fared quite well. Come on, Hiashi, let's get this stupid meeting over with. The faster it goes, the better. Yes, Kushina, let's go. Hiashi escorted Kushina out of the room. All of the influential families and heads of the clans gathered together. Tsunade sat at the head of the council. All right, this meeting is officially in session. The fourth Hokages will and heir have been found. I did the B tests myself. It's of no doubt that this woman, Kushina Uzumaki, if she'd please stand, Kushina stood, waved, and then sat back down, is the fourth's widow. Marital records have confirmed this. Also, the fourth and this woman, the daughter of the Mizukage of the Whirlpool village, which is also confirmed destroyed, had 2 children together. They are twins, Naruto and Shinobu. I asked the council to acknowledge this. Almost everyone agreed with the motion. Hiashi Hyuga stood. I'd like everyone to know that my eldest Hinata has passed down the position of heir to her younger sister Hinabi. The whole clan agrees with this. Everyone started to whisper. Tsunade called the meeting to order. I still have questions for Kushina Uzumaki. She's agreed to answer them. Everyone fell silent. Explain Kyujutsu. Kushina began speaking. Kyujutsu is a special type of jutsu made especially for fighting demons. It's also possible with Kyujutsu to seal demons into human containers, making them jinchuriki. That's how Minato sealed the 9-tailed fox into Naruto on the day of his birth when it attacked. It doesn't use regular hand signs. I recently only saw them for the first time when I met Awai Masumun. You mentioned in your report that you two know each other. How is this? We've all seen the report you gave to the Hokage. This came from the head of Abarain clan. Awai used to live in my home village before it was destroyed. Before the 9-tailed fox came here, it first destroyed my village. Minato barely got me out of there alive. My stomach was huge because my twins were about to be born any time now. I couldn't fight because of my pregnancy. Awai was a sweet and innocent child with a big heart. She, like many of the young ones, called me Auntie Kushina. Until recently I thought her S. We encountered recently when Naruto and Hinata were gone and she went after them. Hiashi once again spoke up. We've heard about Satsukiyami. They're strong enough to beat even strong shinobis senseless. We have a problem on our hands. What will this council do about them? I open up the discussion now. Fortify the defenses and get some serious training in. Increase the patrols and security discreetly. The others' villages can't know about this and we don't want to send our own citizens into a panic. A random somebody called. Kushina thought it was an Anbu member. That's all well and good. But what if they infiltrate our village? We have to tighten up security both inside and outside of Konoha, not just outside. The Nara family head spoke up. The villagers may yet be of use. We can ask them to report anyone suspicious. I'll send my daughter to you later. She infiltrated their base. So she can tell you what they look like and their strengths and weaknesses. I suggest you post 1 or 2 Anbu in disguise at all the entrances and exits of this village. Keep close eye on the village as well. They'll want to silence anyone who reports them. Minato frequently had clashed with them. He had some safeguards in his house for the village against this day. Everyone fell silent at Kushina's words. However, most of them center around his children. He secretly made an alliance with some intelligent animals who had been heavily hurt by them. I'll ask them to come here, with the council's permission. Who says these outsiders come to help us? I support the motion. I say only a small number of them. Any more might alert the other shinobi nations. Also, we still have our pride. This time it was Might Guy who spoke. The air was filled with motions of agreeing. Tsunade called for order. Who says we do this? Over 3/4 of the people agreed. Just for the sake of formality, she finished the motion. And against, only a few supported this. The motion to bring in outside help passed. Just how many will you get to come? Why, all of them, which is to say only the 6 of them. The bear clan is nearly decimated thanks to Satsukiyami. One of them is already here in human form. The person who works for my son, sire, is one of them. Minato saved her life, so she wanted to serve him and his family in thanks. I'll contact them tonight via sire. Now if you'd excuse me, my part here is done. These things aren't good for your mental health. Come on Hinata. First stop Ichiraku's. Then we'll go wherever you want. Hinata nodded breathlessly as Naruto ran along. He was dragging her along with one hand. They were both relieved and happy that they were allowed by both of their families to date. Hinata was secretly glad to not be heir anymore. She never was one for authority. As they ran down the street, many people stared. But neither of them cared about what they thought. After eating their ramen, which Naruto treated him to, he turned to ask Hinata where she wanted to go. But he barely got the first word out of his mouth. Standing nearby with smug expressions were none other Shinku Tebenasu and Horyu Hanon. Naruto, are you sure about this training method? It may speed up the training, but the side effects are pretty harsh. Naruto was planning on using an old strategy taught to him by Kakashi. Hinata and Shinobu watched as Naruto prepared for his training. Of course I'm sure. I know that Shinku and Horyu were no illusions. They infiltrated Konoha. We need to get strong fast. And for people like me, this method works really well. His method consisted of making many shadow clones. According to the perks of the shadow clone jutsu, any experience earned by clones would go to the user once the clone returned to the original user's body. So if more than one Naruto were present, he could get more training in faster. Oh well, we'll just have to make sure his bed is ready because I hear his training is really intense. I hear he doesn't hold back. So he'll probably pass out when he's done. I'm also familiar with that jutsu. You get not only the experience but their exhaustion as well. Naruto merely nodded, feeling guilty about not telling him the problem that could result. If he got too exhausted, the Kyuubi could come out. Shinobu wouldn't know that though. Naruto, what do you intend to do if the Kyuubi comes out? Hinata bore down on her now official boyfriend. That's why you're here. Usually Captain Yamato would be here to suppress the Kyuubi's chakra. But you can call me back Hinata. No one else can do that. Saya watched forlornly as her master trained. She had trouble remembering he was not Minato, her former master who was now deceased. Saya, what's on your mind? Kushina stood next to the window from which Saya was watching Naruto train. Kushina figured out the problem in one quick glance. It's your instincts, isn't it? Yes. Bears are very maternal creatures. Naruto-sama isn't used to people acting like that. I mean, it's hard not to shower him with love. I was young when Master Minato saved me. He didn't care about what I am. He understood and dealt with me patiently. I wanted to protect him. But I couldn't protect him from his own skill. How he sealed the Kyuubi no Kitsune into Naruto-sama wasn't a normal sealing. The sealing of that demon took the strongest sealing Kyujutsu had to offer. I want to protect Naruto-sama just as bad. You know, to make up for the lack of love since his birth. He's always been so alone. Saya was almost crying as she watched Naruto do his best in training. Just be patient. Right now the best thing to help him is time. But in the meantime, I have a job for you. In 2 days I want you to contact your clan. We need their strength to deal with Satsukiyami. Kushina leaned against the wall. Man, Satsukiyami is so troublesome. Will do. Kushina left. Saya remained where she was for several hours. Mixed feelings consumed her. She wanted to be there for support her master, both as a friend and loyal servant. But she also wanted to do what her instincts bid her to do. She wanted to just shower him in motherly love. Of course, for her clan, she had an extreme version of motherly love. Below in the courtyard, Naruto stopped and made his clones return to him. He teetered for a moment and then collapsed. Naruto. Shinobu, who was the closest to Naruto, exclaimed as she caught her brother. Saya appeared out of nowhere seemingly and helped support him. Naruto was covered in sweat. I've prepared the master bedroom. With your permission Shinobu-sama, I'll help get him there. Shinobu nodded and they began the long walk to his room. He had the master bedroom, the biggest one in the house. Of course, that was on the 2nd floor and they were outside. Saya noticed something troublesome about her master. Shinobu also had noticed this and was wondering why as well. Saya, why is Naruto so light? Even with his high metabolism due to his being a shinobi, he's too light. It's not an unhealthy weight, but still lighter than a boy his age should be. probably due to the fact that he was entirely self-sufficient until now. So no one made him eat anything other than ramen. Also, he was working off of a low budget, so probably not much food money. To hear herself say such things hurt, because it was the truth. It irked her to think that he had taught himself to live by himself. And he had taught himself this out of necessity. But she did know this. He didn't need pity. They finally made it to his room and they managed to get him on the bed. They also managed to remove his shirt, jacket, and shoes. Hinata wiped the sweat from his face. He made a feeble M sound but in his sleep but did nothing more. Hinata smiled as she noticed Naruto smiling in his sleep. The next morning a harassed-looking Kakashi arrived at the house of his former student. When Naruto had been promoted to chunin, the relationship of master and student changed. It became shinobi to shinobi. Shinobu answered the door. Kakashi, how are you? Please come in. Kakashi walked in. I can't stay long. Tsunade-sama needs to see the entire Uzumaki family plus the one called Saya. It sounded important. As soon as Naruto wakes up we'll drag him over there. He's still sleeping after yesterday's training. Really unusual method but it works for the most part. Too bad he gets all his clones exhaustion as well. Apparently you were the one who taught him that method. Kakashi's sweat dropped. That could have turned out bad. Let me guess. Passed out from overexertion afterwards. At least the QB didn't wake up. Shinobu laughed. No worries. We forgot to mention it but someone exists who can call him back when he loses himself. Kakashi turned to leave, his message delivered. Out of curiosity, who? Why, of course, it should be obvious. His girlfriend, Hinata. Kakashi laughed himself and left to report back to the Hokage. A clatter alerted Shinobu's attention to behind her. Naruto had gotten up and had bumped into the kitchen door as he made to enter. Sorry, not awake yet. I need breakfast. Naruto moved to sit down on the table. Kushina intercepted him. Sorry, go get dressed and grab a couple of granola bars or something. We've all been summoned before the Hokage. Naruto grumbled to himself but went back upstairs to get dressed. A few minutes later he returned running a brush through his bedhead hair. Saya handed him some buttered toast. Thanks, Saya. He followed everyone else out the door. Saya smiled as she shut the door behind her. Tsunade surveyed the Uzumaki household as they entered her office. She silently laughed as Naruto was munching on some buttered toast. He looked like he had just gotten up. Sorry about the appearance, Tsunade-bar-chan. Just got up. I'm usually not a morning person. No matter. Tsunade was wide awake. How is contacting your clan going? The council is really getting on my case about this. Also, we need your help. We need as much information on Satsukiyami as you can tell us. Especially you Naruto. We can do that. But Naruto won't be of much help. The whole time he was in their base he was caught in a genjutsu. I can tell you the most. So can Mom, as she beens dealing with them for a long time. She fought them with Dad before we were born all the time. Though I still want to know what that genjutsu was. He was smiling the entire time. Naruto blushed at his sister's statement. I've already said that what the genjutsu was reflected nothing about them. It reflected my strongest subconscious desire. Naruto stated bluntly. Shinobu smirked as he blushed even further. Tsunade-sama, I'm afraid to say I can only contact them at certain times. Tomorrow is one of those times. Saya shuffled her feet nervously as she spoke. Saya held no fear when dealing with her master and his loved ones. But in front of others she was extremely shy. Contact me with the results when you find them out. They'll let anyone from your household through as long as I'm not in a meeting. Saya and the Uzumaki family nodded and left. Kushina turned on her son. Only light training if you want to train today. Your body needs rest. I swear I'll tie you down to your bed and make you eat vegetables if you disobey me. Naruto nodded meekly. After having a lazy day, Naruto finished the day by enjoying some time in the hot spring his house had in the back. Even more lazy than he was before, thanks to the hot spring, he easily fell asleep when he made it to his room. It was hot outside so he wore only pajama pants. He would have slept well had it not been for her. Saya was usually the last one to go to bed in the house. She had just laid down and was almost asleep when she sensed a disturbance. She shot up and looked around the house. Saya had excellent senses. With her super sensitive eyesight, she saw someone sneaking up the stairs. Knowing it was probably not one of the kids, she silently followed the intruder. Naruto was asleep as someone opened his door. He was curled up on his side and snoring lightly. A black mask hid the intruder's face. The only clear thing that distinguished anything about her was her C. It identified her as a female. Only a few stray lavender hairs stuck out of her all-black clothes. From out of the folds in her clothing she pulled out a long curved knife and moved in next to her target. The target, who was only in a light sleep, snapped his eyes open and looked up. The knife came down. Naruto blocked it with a chakra shield and rolled off the bed. At the same time, he made a kunai out of chakra. The two clashed evenly until the masked woman tripped Naruto. As he grew angry, he somehow correctly made a Rasengan. Something was unusual about his Rasengan. A normal Rasengan was blue and only about as big as his fist. This one was slightly larger and multicolored. He shot up and got the unsuspecting intruder straight in the sea. Both went flying as the unexpected power boost sent them both flying. The thief hit a large mirror and it shattered as she hit. She crumpled to the ground as shards of glass fell around her and on her. Naruto hit his dresser and bounced off. Naruto-sama. Saya burst into the room and saw the result of the chaos. Are you okay? Saya ran to his side and helped him up. Naruto grimaced but nodded. He had find C on his arm and C from the would be a knife. Kushina and Shinobu joined them and Kushina made a quick deal of unveiling the intruder. It was Horyu Hanon. Shinobu, tie her up. Saya, I need you to hurry up and get Tsunade-sama up. Find out what to do from her. Naruto, are you hurt? Naruto shook his head no. I'm fine. Only a few little C. Saya left the room in a hurry. Shinobu finished encasing Horyu in a full body bind of chakra. Kushina shot her daughter a look. Shinobu glared back. No rope. Sorry. I'll move her down to the basement and keep guard until help arrives. The unconscious Satsukiyami member was thrown roughly over Shinobu's shoulder. Hopefully Saya will come back not only with the Hokage but some Anbu members as well. A little while later Shizune arrived with 2 squads of Anbu behind her. Not only were the Anbu present but Shikamaru's dad. I'll need another report from you guys. I'm just glad no one was seriously hurt. Naruto only received superficial C, correct. Naruto answered Shizune's question by walking in. He still had no shirt on. That's a relief. Tsunade-sama will be pleased to hear this. Also, this squad will be stationed here with your permission. To prevent something like this from happening again. Sure thing Shizune. If they like, we can even prepare rooms for them. Things were returning to normal in the house. Naruto was constantly yawning. He had been unable to go back to sleep after the attempt on his life. He dearly wanted to see Hinata. That afternoon he was planning on visiting her but he was still gathering the energy to do that. In the end, that was never necessary. It was spreading around like wildfire that an attempt to kill him had been made. So it was no surprise to see Hinata nearly crashing in on them. He was about to doze off when the door opening brought him back to full awareness. Oh, hi Hinata, how are you doing today? I'm fine. What about you? I heard you were injured last night because of the Satsukiyami member trying to kill you. Naruto pulled his girlfriend down next to him. I'm fine. See. Naruto lifted up his shirt and showed Hinata his arm and see. No sign of injury remained. I almost feel sorry for Horyu. Considering what'll happen to her. What's going to happen to her? Nothing much. She's only going to Hibiki, the best tea in all of Konoha. Naruto, if you're tired, you should sleep. Hinata stroked Naruto's hair. Tired as he was, he didn't want to sleep. After last night, when Horyu had tried to kill him in his sleep, he had been unable to sleep until early afternoon. Now it was mid-afternoon. No, I don't like sleeping in the middle of the day. It throw me offs. It's not helping that you're doing that. Common sense told him to sit up, to take his head off of Hinata's lap. But right now he just didn't have the energy to move. Hinata sighed and covered his eyes with her hand. What is this for? Is it you're thinking that it's not good to sleep when the sun's up? Ignore the sun. Your body needs sleep. Naruto's next statement was stifled by a yawn. He could no longer resist the lull of sleep. Fine, I give up. Happy now. Despite the tone of his voice he was smiling as he closed his eyes and began to breathe evenly. Somewhere that was not far away found Ibiki Morino in the middle of a job. He had been ordered to interrogate the captured member of Satsuki Army. He had been impressed to hear that it was Naruto Uzumaki who had captured her. After all, he had been one of the proctors at Naruto's Chunin exam. After everyone who had not given up had followed Anko out of the room, he had begun to collect the papers. Naruto hadn't answered a single question on his written exam. Had it not been for the attack, Naruto would have been promoted to Chunin. Him defeating Neji had given everyone a good impression of the then floundering youth. Ibiki turned his mind back to the task at hand. His victim sat chained to a stiff iron chair. Her clothes had been replaced with those of a prisoner's. Horyu had also not eaten or drank since her capture. She had no physical injuries. His specialty was breaking his victims mentally. He rarely had to resort to physical R. So are you ready to talk? I won't betray Shinku-sama or Satsukiyami. I've already said that. Why won't you give the Jinchuriki up? We could solve one of your problems for you. Ibiki s her hard on her right cheek. Naruto is one of own. Other villages may have gladly given up the Jinchuriki but not here. I'll come back in a few hours. We'll see if you're ready to talk then. Ibiki left and shut the door behind him. As the door shut he heard a faint whimper and tears hitting the floor. True to his word, he returned a few hours later. Horyu now sat resigned in her seat. She was sitting straight up with her head held high. He barely even sat down in his usual spot when she spoke. I heard Konoha was a good place to live. But apparently not since brutish men like you are here. What would the other villagers think if they knew this side of Konoha? Where girls are captured, and abused. Ibiki only shrugged his shoulders. Every village has a division. And right now, you aren't a girl. You're the enemy. That's all there is to it. And what people think me doesn't matter either. I will break you and I will find out what I want to know. No matter what I have to do or how long it takes. I really don't like causing pain. Make it easier on yourself and talk freely. Doubt flickered on Horyu's face. It was there only for a moment before it was replaced with false bravado. She was beginning to break down. Why? Shinku-sama won't allow me to be here for long. All I have to do is wait. Let me guess, you love your master, even though he's so much older than you. Do you really think he cares about you? Why isn't he here now? He'll probably just move on to another apprentice. Another apprentice to use and take advantage of. Horyu struggled against the chains holding her down. Her hands moved as to make hand signs. But it was all for nothing. Those chains ate the chakra of those chained in them. Don't you dare make sport of Shinku-sama. When he gets here you'll be sorry. Hate shone from her indigo eyes. He won't be alive for much longer. Not if we can help it. Now tell me about Satsukiyami. Now. No, please, spare him. You don't understand him at all. Shouldn't you try to understand your enemy? This earned her another S, much harder than the first one. This time she couldn't stop the tears. She glared up defiantly this time, still crying and showing fear in her eyes for the first time. No, he won't leave me behind here. He'll come for me. I know he will. The door opened and two Anbu walked in. We're ready. Is everything set up here? Yes. He walked over to Horyu and jerked her head up forcefully, making her look at the Anbu. The two quickly performed some hand signs. Her eyes were now glazed over. You two ready for this? Both nodded. Ibiki set up a video camera and started recording. Shinku paced around his tent, a worried look on his face. Horyu had vanished in the night. It was noon and she still hadn't returned. He had for a scout earlier and was now waiting for one to arrive. You called, Shinku-sama. How may I be of service to you? The scout was on one knee as he spoke. I think my idiot apprentice got it into her head to sneak into Konoha and try to K the Jinchuriki in his sleep. She's probably been captured by now. Sneak into Konoha and find out her whereabouts and situation. Don't try to get her out if she has been captured. If you find her fine and simply skipping out on lessons, bring her back at once. Report back to me at once when you find out. The scout nodded and zipped out of the tent. When he reached the borders of the village, he slipped in as a simple traveler seeking shelter for the night. The scout made observations as he went through the village, heading towards the most obvious place for information, the Hokage Tower. He noted that the defenses had been fortified both in and out of the village. There were even some Anbu mixed into the crowd dressed as normal civilians. They blended in so well that he had trouble distinguishing civilian from shinobi. Many of these people were most likely shinobi. Only a few would be Anbu. It was a well-known fact that their shinobi population was many times larger than the average village. He slipped into the Hokage tower and made it to the top of the tower where the Hokage's office would most likely be. He reached her office and saw someone in the room with her. It was a man covered in scars. This man was talking to the Hokage seriously. We ended up having to use truth drugs and jutsus. But we got the information we wanted. It's on this videotape. He placed a tape on her desk. The Hokage slipped into it her desk. And now where is Horyu Hanon? She's been heavily drugged and placed in a chakra-eating cell under guard of the most experienced Anbu we could get our hands on. She's in the old cells under the village. I know you expect her to be treated at least decently. She will be. Understood. Keep a vigilant watch. They may come back for her. The man saluted and left. The scout took this as a hint to report back. He left Konoha through the forest. The last thing he needed was to be captured too. This way was longer but safer. He eventually made it back to the camp and reported back to Shinku-sama. Judging by the sun, he had been gone for 6 hours. Report. Shinku wasted no time in asking for the report. She's been captured. Through the use of drugs and jutsu, they found out everything she knew about us. Horyu-sama is now heavily drugged and in a chakra-eating cell in the old cells under the village of Konoha. Shinku was silent as he thought about what to do. I want you to spread the word that Horyu is now a prisoner of war. Despite this, no one is to go in and get her. Her own rashness has caused this and now she'll have to understand the consequences. When we go in to get the Jinchuriki, we'll get her. The scout nodded respectively and exited. Saya walked into the living room and smiled when she saw her young master asleep, his head up on Hinata's lap. It was late evening now. And tonight would be the night she would contact her clan. Hinata-sama, I'm sorry to do this but I have to wake him up. Don't worry about it. Naruto, time to wake up. Saya needs you. Naruto got up groggily. I'm sorry to say but dinner will be late tonight, master. I'm contacting my clan and thought you might want to be there. He came awake instantly. Hinata-sama, will you be okay going home by yourself? I can ask Shinobu-sama to escort you if you'd like. I'm fine. Naruto, my father has invited you to dinner tomorrow night. So please come if you'd like. Hinata skipped to the door and left. This way. Naruto was led to the basement. Saya grabbed a torch and lit it. A secret door opened and she motioned for him to follow. They went down on a long dark tunnel until they arrived at a door. Saya opened it and lit the candles in there. It's safe to come in. Naruto entered the room and saw a large symbol painted onto the floor. Saya stood in the center of it. Wow, this room is amazing. He walked over to the corner and stayed there. What next? I have to take off the genjutsu and show you my real form. After that, they'll come. The air seemed to ripple around her and she was now a different person. Brown eyes were now gold. Also, she wore long pants and sandals with a long-sleeved midriff shirt. As Naruto gasped in awe at how awesome she looked, the air around her shimmered and shapes began to emerge. Shapes that were vaguely bear-shaped. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.